Robertson County. I hope you guys are ready for the week. This is, it's kind of funny. We got started yesterday. Heading back, and I know I'm in that teaching world where I get to live in that schedule, and I love it. It's just a really good fit for me at this place in my life. And I know last week all of you had to head back to school and or head back to work. It's so funny because I had messaged my kids with some stuff, I think on Thursday maybe, and I didn't get a response from them. And I thought, you know what, they're all back in the office, they're all back on their schedules, and here I am still enjoying my winter break, right, my Christmas break. And so, we just welcome you into it as you're, kind of getting back into your schedule now. The kids are heading back to school. I know everybody was super nervous yesterday about whether or not the weather was going to keep us at home. And we were supposed to, the teachers, we were supposed to have a professional development day yesterday. And that did not happen because I think they were just a little concerned because that snow just kind of kept spitting at us all day. And, you can't really be sure what's going to happen on the side streets. And those side roads out there, they can still, putting on the traffic reporter hat, guys. This is one of those things that when we would have this kind of weather, when I was doing traffic, there were always incidences of where the moisture hit these overpasses and some of these back roads that are shaded, things like that. Of course, we never really got any sun yesterday because it stayed so cloudy. But you've got some of these, I know a lot of us go, there's nothing wrong with the roads because we live on great roads. But if you live on some of these back roads, if you have to deal with some of these kind of treacherous conditions, especially these bus drivers, guys, keep in mind that sometimes maybe things will get called off and you think, well, there's no reason for it to. Now, we're not in that situation today. Everybody's headed back to school. I've heard nothing in regards to any kind of problems. I'm sure those buses are out rolling, doing what they do. And we're headed back to school. I teach at Greenbrier. If some of you guys are maybe just brand new to this program and you've never really seeing what's going on, we appreciate you joining us. This is, again, one street over. 1100 WSGI is a Christian broadcast company right here in the heart of Robertson County. We have an English side and we have a Spanish side. WDBL, WSGI is the English side. And this is a worldwide broadcast company, a worldwide Christian broadcast company that via the internet you can hear everywhere. But terrestrially, we're still real radio, y'all. I love that with my kiddos. I teach audio video production at Greenbrier High School, and my kiddos will come in sometimes and they'll say, Miss Vivio, I saw your podcast. And I very kindly go, it is not a podcast. It is real radio, y'all. And for somebody like myself that's, done radio since 1980. Yeah, I'm that old. My friend Brian Wilson just retired with 50 plus years in Nashville, and I'm not too far behind him on that 50-year mark. So it's fun. It's fun. But anyway, with that said, welcome to it. This is 1100 WSGI. What we are anticipating today is this is typically the first Tuesday. We have Jim Bellis, our communications director at Robertson County Schools, he reached out to me and said, hey, could we get the principals in over the course of the 24-25 school year and just talk to them about the things that they're excited about with their schools? And so we've been working to do that. Now, he and I both reached out to some folks yesterday. The only one that I've gotten confirmation from is Dr. Mary Jo Holmes. And I believe she's coming in at 7:30. So we're anticipating that. And Dr. Holmes, if you're listening to me, you can just come on in anytime. Have not heard from Mary Cook. We had a little bit of confusion where we rescheduled one. And so that may be the reasons why Miss Cook is not, we haven't heard from her today. So we're anticipating, again, Dr. Holmes coming in from East Robertson, I think is her school, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where she is. But she'll come in and fill us in on all those things. But just a lot of things that we want to talk about. If you weren't paying attention to all the stuff going on during Christmas, as far as the schools, even while we were on Christmas break, we had they had the Christmas Classic, the Christmas tournament that they did, and I wanted to say that was at East Robertson, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but we'll get a report and get an update on that for you later this week and see how all that went. We had some big wrestling tournaments that happened at Springfield. The Bruise Brothers Brawl, some of those things that happened. And just as we get into, get back into the next semester, because you figure if the way the school system is structured up here, we're on a semester system. It's taken me this long to kind of completely understand this, but we have first and second semester, and then we have first, second, third, and fourth quarter through the 24-25 year. So we've had the first and second quarter, we've had the first semester, and then the kids will change classes and go into new classes today. So as my husband and I, we were talking this morning, we're really excited to meet some new students. I'll have an AV1 class, an audio video 1 class that'll come in. I'll have some brand new kiddos that I've never met. So it's just like the first of the year really today, as we get some of these new kids in. So it's going to be exciting to talk to them and see that. So kind of if you're a high school parent, keep that in mind that your kiddos are going to be meeting some teachers possibly today for the first time in some of the programs. Now, some of the teachers that have been teaching math and science and English and the social studies, and those teachers, they may already be familiar with them and they're just changing subjects, or they're changing from English 1 to English 2, something to that degree. But especially as CTE teachers, as career and technical education teachers, they are possibly even changing what they call the career path. And that's another thing I think a lot of parents don't realize. When you've got kiddos, I've got my homeroom kids right now, they are seniors. And so I've got 4 that I've had since I started teaching. And they were sophomores when I came into their classroom, little knuckleheads. They were funny. Some of the things that they said and the little tricks they tried to pull on me, we still talk about those. But just love these kids to pieces. And I've got 4 of them. They're not going to be back. I won't get to see them until Friday, and they're going to be coming in and doing what they have their senior walk. They'll come in and do their rehearsal. If Greenbrier, our graduation rehearsal for early graduates, for winter graduates, is Friday morning, and then they'll have their senior walk, and they put on their cap and gown, and they go through the building, and just it gives a chance for the other students to say, hey, here's what you're working towards. This is what you're looking to accomplish, and just to give them a one last walk through the school. And they'll give out honorary diplomas. That's something we do at Greenbrier that has been spearheaded by our wonderful Miss Grimes, Samantha Grimes, who is our program director for the Renaissance program. And she instigated this, and this is something that, I've been honored to have some of the students give me their honorary diploma, and it just means so much to know that you've impacted these kids in a way that they're like, hey, you know what, you were special in my life, and to know that what you're doing as a teacher is making a difference, and even if you don't get that recognition, it because you can just kind of see it with the kids. But that's kind of the stuff, that's what's going on at Greenbrier. Now, I know all the other schools, all the other high schools, they're going to be getting ready for their winter graduations as well. So sit tight with all that. We do have the anticipation of a snowmageddon on the horizon. Or I don't know. I'm one of these. I love a little bit of snow. I don't want too much. My husband is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I mean, that is not Michigan. They really ought to be a state in and of themselves, quite frankly. But they're north of Wisconsin, just south of Lake Superior, and it gets really cold and windy and snowy up there. But so, it's fun. We'll go up there, and if we don't get any snow here, we can go visit the Upper Peninsula and get a little bit of snow and then come back here and be like, okay, we're just going to leave it up there with y'all. Because they have a lot of it. And they have all that lake effect, the Great Lakes effect snow. And so it's quite something. But anyway, so we're anticipating possibly some snow moving in. As we look at the forecast on the weekend, I know my principal, Dr. Osborne, she reached out to the group yesterday because we did not have our professional development because the weather was just so sketchy, and it was something that we could easily reschedule. So they decided to call it off. But as we're looking ahead, we've got like an 80% chance of snow on Friday. And this is just the real quick little telephone forecast. I'll get Bill in here. Bill Jones is our local forecaster. He's our local weather expert. So I'm going to be reaching out to Bill and getting him in here before the week is over to kind of give us a better gauge on what we were anticipating. Because I know this past weekend, as we were looking at the storms coming in, and seeing what we had, it was one of those things where, the timing on that cold weather, can you imagine if those cold temperatures that we had yesterday were in place when all that rain came through Sunday afternoon, that would just be nuts. But we woke up Sunday morning. They had actually called off church at Madison because the ice that we did have hit just perfectly for our service time. And it was absolutely true. I stepped out on my porch and I put up some pictures of our trees just absolutely covered in ice, and it went away super fast. But for a little brief moment of time, you had a couple hours there that the roads were treacherous, that you certainly didn't want to walk around on it and hurt yourself. But, it was a little bit of a mess. But with that temperature, we ended up getting up to 50 on Sunday evening as that rain came through and just washed it all clean. But then that snow just kept spitting at us all day yesterday. And my husband and I were out running around doing some errands. But everything just, we didn't have any trouble as far as roads. But now there was one point where we were over by Springfield Auto and Transmission. Thank you for taking care of my car yesterday. They do such a good job over there. And we were coming up by Doris Mill, and there's a bridge right through there that kind of is in the area of the Greenway. And it was pretty icy there for a few minutes yesterday. So, there's some treacherous roads that you could run into on some of the side streets. Keep that in mind and just be careful. And this is that time of the year, guys, really all the way through mid-March to the end of March. If you're new to this area, yes, we can get snow. I saw oh my gosh, the social media stuff that we see, it's so funny. Because you see people that maybe are completely new to the area and they experience something for the first time. And there was two things I saw yesterday. There was somebody that moved into the Kentucky area just north of here, and there was just tons of snow on their vehicle, and they were kind of saying to themselves, yes, move to Kentucky. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have alligators. We don't have all these things. Come on in here. And so it was just so funny to see that, because they were just kind of mocking the fact that I moved here for this and I got the snow, but you just got to wait a minute and it'll be all gone. So just sit tight. And there was another video that was just hysterical that came out of Clarksville. And but you can come on in, Mary. I'm not sure if that's Dr. Holmes or Mary Cook. So, okay, well, come on in here. Come on in here. Are you supposed to be on at 7 or 7:30? I'm going to get you to come on in here now because I haven't heard from Dr. Holmes, so I think there's been some confusion, if you don't mind. Come on in, but we're going to let her come on in here and sit down, and we may end up having both of them in here for a few minutes. So just trying to get back into the swing of things. Sometimes we just get our wires crossed a little bit. So come on in if you don't mind, and I apologize for getting the wires crossed. I'm going to tell real quickly this clip. I don't know if you saw this thing. It was so funny. Coming out of Clarksville, this poor guy, he hit an area of ice, and the dude just bailed out of his car because his car was headed for this embankment, and it was just absolutely. I don't know if you saw this thing on social media, but it was so funny. And he just is like, I'm not going to crash. I'm just going to bail out of the car, and he just jumped out of the car and let the car just go over this. It ended up looked like the car did okay, but it was quite funny, and you've probably seen that on social media. Mary Cook. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Pull that microphone to you if you don't mind. Are you Dr. or Miss Cook?
I'm just Miss.
Miss Cook. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just Miss.
Have we met before? I'm not sure.
I
don't think so.
I don't think so.
There's so many people being in the school system now. They kind of think we all know each other. It's like, well, my friend teaches over here, and I'm like, I'm barely getting by at Greenbrier and figuring out all the things.
Yeah, you work for one of my good friends, Dr. Osborne.
Yes, wonderful. We just love her. And
love her.
It was so funny. We got a message from her yesterday about we've got winter graduation coming up.
Right.
And everybody's anticipating snow coming in on Friday, and she's like, we're not canceling unless it's real snow.
No.
And I thought, that's a farm girl in you right there.
Right.
Come on.
Well, she's from our community.
Yeah, I knew she was.
Yeah.
Now, you're with which school?
I'm at East Robertson High School.
Okay, see, I've got it all mixed up.
That's all right.
I apologize. We had some confusion over who was coming in today. Now, so I think Dr. Holmes is coming in here in just a little bit, so we're going to get right to it with you. because if you guys had the Christmas tournament this week over Christmas break, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I was talking about that, and I was thinking that's where it happened. 'Cause
Yes.
we put it in our newscast, but I don't have an update on it. Did
Yes.
everything go off
It
without any
went great.
problem?
It went great. We had 3 full days of basketball,
Yeah.
and everybody had a good time.
Well, that is wonderful,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And y'all are a basketball legacy school, man. You really are.
Correct.
You really are, man.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it
That is
is.
so cool.
That's kind of our niche.
Well, let me ask you this, and
Okay.
that's a question I always like to ask the principals. What are you most proud of about East Robertson?
I'm really most proud of the fact that we are all about community and family.
Okay.
And the basketball just ties into that. And when you're winning and you're doing great things like that, everybody wants to be a part. But our little community up there is still very much like a little Mayberry. It's changing. It's changing. Growth is bringing change in, but it's still, I just make one phone call if I need something and somebody's standing there with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even have to make a call. It's just there. But I was talking to Rita Reed last night to make sure that I had my history of how the school became where it is today. And we were talking about, make sure I have my history right. And we were talking about that. And she said, you know, Mary, she said, because I'm from Robertson County, everybody connected to me is from Robertson County, but I grew up in Springfield and I didn't really go to Cross Plains much. A lot of my friends were from Joe Burns and Cedar Hill and Springfield, but our little school there is very much about community.
Yeah.
And that's what we do well, is community and family, and that's just kind of, and winning basketball state championships and breaking records with volleyball and football and bringing in wrestling. We had a female wrestler go to state last year,
Yeah.
first time ever. So, those things just enhance that and just make it better. You still we have a 4-way stop that divides the time. It's still very much like that. So,
Yeah. See,
kinda cool.
I come out there a lot for the Kilgore Festival.
Right.
I've been associated
Yeah.
with the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival ever since it started.
Yes.
And so I've gotten to know your community because of that, and Barry
Yeah.
and Rebecca Richards, they're one of
Yes.
my, they're my.
I had her
my-
kids.
Yeah, they're just
Denise.
wonderful. My goodness,
Yeah.
those kids of theirs.
They're
Ooh,
great.
they're
We
doing
have some great people there.
Yeah.
And I married into the community, so
Okay.
that helps. But it's just if there's a need, somebody's standing there to fill it.
Tell me how long you've been there. How long
I've been here almost 15 years.
Have you been in the
East
capacity? How long have you been in the capacity of principal?
I started out my first year as an AP, and then after that, I moved into the head principal.
So how long have you been here principal?
14.
Wow.
It's a long
My
time.
goodness. God bless you. That's a
long
lot.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a long
cool.
time.
Well, and it goes so. I've been
goes
teaching now for
fast.
3 years, and I'm in my third year, and it blows my mind.
Well, I was looking
it blows my mind.
I know. I was looking at some things, and I thought, 25% of our teachers are East Robertson High School graduates right now.
Are you kidding?
No. And
25% of your teachers.
Exactly. And 6 of those graduates were students there when I came there
Oh, that's so cool.
that have come back now. So, and I'm starting to get kids of kids now. So,
Yeah.
it's
That's
kind
a
of neat.
legacy.
It's
That's a
kinda neat.
legacy.
It is. And that's kind
Yeah.
of, that goes along with our community
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It goes along with our community stuff.
Okay. Well, what do you want to cover? Because I'm anticipating Dr. Holmes coming in here, and we're going to end up overlapping
I'll
a little
cover
bit.
whatever you want me to cover.
Well, but so as far as we always like to ask, are you having any needs right now as far as openings? Because that's something we've got some. We've got
grade math.
8th grade math.
I
You
anticipate
need
an 8th grade math
teacher.
here real quick.
Okay, because see, that's one thing about your school is you guys have middle school in.
We do. We're a combo. Mhm.
So are you the principal then over the middle school and the high school?
Yes, ma'am.
that's
We're
unique.
612,
Okay.
and I'm over the entire building, but I have an AP down in the middle school, and then I have another AP in the high school with me, and we kind of share duties anyway, but Coach Chapman is kind of down there in the middle school running the day-to-day operations of things like that. And then when you have a combo school like that, it's probably best that your head principal be in the high school end of the building.
I get that. I think I had him in, if I'm not mistaken.
You may
I
have.
think I did. I can't remember.
You may have.
But we've had so many different guests in
Right.
over the course of time. But it seems like I have met. Is he relatively new?
No, he's
Okay,
been
then
there.
that's if it's a different person then, because and maybe that's a Joe Burns situation.
Maybe.
But so because that's the thing, because we're in Greenbrier is the only one I really understand because that's where I am. We have high school and middle school that are completely separate.
Correct.
You're not the only school, because didn't Joe Burns set up the same
Joe
way you guys?
Burns and Heritage.
Really?
Mhm.
White House Heritage is
It's a 712.
7 through 12. See, I didn't. These are things we need to know, guys, as
It's
you're part of the
crazy.
county.
It's
And
crazy,
it's
yeah.
just, we're such an expansive county. We cover a lot of acreage.
We cover a lot of ground.
You better believe we do. And I
we do.
didn't realize that we had that breakout. So we've got 7 through 12 at White House Heritage, 6 through 12 at Joe Burns.
They're just like we are.
They're just like you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize any of
Crazy.
that. So I just kind of assumed, even though y'all had the combo, you still had separate principals per se.
No,
Okay.
I'm kind of,
Cool.
I oversee everything, and then he
Interesting.
does the data. He likes the middle school, loves to be down there with the middle school kids, and so it just works out good like that. And then Holly Mickey is my other AP,
Okay.
and she is more of data and instruction, and she goes between the two ends of the building.
Okay, and AP is assistant principal, assistant principal, and it's just amazing. It's a different world. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and we had a principal, but the education system has changed so much. All the things we have to do and all the boxes we have to check. Because I'll be honest with you, 60s and 70s, I had some wonderful teachers, but I had some terrible ones.
Oh yeah,
And you have to. We
it's
can't
very
let that.
different.
We can't let that happen. And the things that we have to do and all the administrative things that happen is to make sure that the best people are in front of those kids.
Yeah, and in the 20 years I've been doing this job, I've seen a lot of change.
I bet
A
you
lot
have.
of change.
So now you said you married into the community. What's your background? Where are you from?
I'm from Springfield.
Okay.
I'm
So
from right here.
Should you go to Springfield High School?
I did all the way through.
Oh my goodness. You know Penny Callis?
I do.
She's one of my best friends. Does all my hair. Of course, she's like, "What are you doing with the hat on, LaVern?" I had my shoulder replaced over the Christmas break,
Right.
and so I don't know if you can't raise your arm over your head, and so you're going to be seeing my Stormy Comer, especially with the cold weather.
Oh yeah. It's
So
crazy.
anyway,
But yeah, I'm a born and bred Springfield kid, and proud of where I come from, proud of my heritage,
Absolutely.
proud of my high school, proud to be an alumni at Springfield. And I mean, my whole family's from Robertson County, so I don't know anything any different. Don't care to go anywhere any different.
Isn't that wonderful? It's a wonderful area. That's
It
why we
is.
have so many people coming in. You have access. I'm from Western Kentucky, Mayfield area, and we just don't have as easy access to a place like Nashville. I mean, being a bedroom community to Nashville gives us opportunities that people just can't even imagine.
Correct.
Because there's so many work opportunities here, but if you just can't quite find your fit, you've always got Nashville you can take.
yeah.
So there's so many wonderful things here. So I as we're sitting here thinking about what to ask you about, what have you got coming up event wise? Have you got some events you want to promote? Because I know we've got a plethora of them at Greenbrier.
Oh gosh.
Even though it's winter,
It's something going on all the time.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up middle school basketball.
Okay.
Regular season will wrap up this week. In fact, we just had our 8th grade recognition last night.
Oh, fun.
And our last home game, we have one more regular season game on Thursday for middle school. That is away. And then, of course, we start middle school tournament, and it's at Greenbrier. So I feel like we'll be at Greenbrier High School because the gym is bigger for the tournament.
Okay.
But we got middle school tournament coming up. High school basketball is starting district play this week. We've been playing for the last few weeks, but we'll actually start our district play and get down to the nitty gritty of it starting Friday, and that is at home at Joe Burns. We start out against Joe Burns, so we're excited about that. Wrestling is cranking up really big. Actually, we're going to do an in-school match at Greenbrier High School on Wednesday, I believe.
So that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that because we did that in our news. I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, see, we promoted in the news that we had an in-school match, but I didn't know who was coming.
Well, we're coming.
Well, there you go. I will
be
be
there.
there taking pictures
Yes,
for
we'll
the
be there.
newscast. Okay.
It's just something all the time going on there. Baseball and softball will start open facilities and start getting going. Middle school, it's always something going on.
I love
Just about every night of the week, you can find something to do.
That's one thing people don't realize. They're like, you teachers get so many breaks. You have no idea how busy it is once we're in school.
No.
It is just constant, and it's exhausting. It's wonderful, and it's fun. I just am having the best time ever, but it wears you out.
It's tiring.
Yes, it
Our
is. Yeah.
band and choral program, we have two, Anna Brain and Matt Scott. Matt Scott does our band, and Anna Brain does our choral program, and those fine arts programs in our school are growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, we did a concert before Christmas, and I was amazed kids that got up there and opened their mouth to sing that I didn't even.
I didn't
think
know
they
you could do that.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
And so I love to go in there and observe those classes because it's really cool. So that's getting bigger, and they're doing things all the time. I mean, it's just always something.
I love it.
Always something.
Do you have anything special for Valentine's?
Oh, we'll have a little middle school dance, and they'll get to have a dance and put their Sunday dresses on and get their picture made, and they'll decorate the commons area, and that's always a big hit.
So, because I mean, that's the thing is you get into the winter and everybody's like, oh, well, you got that, you've got St. Patrick's Day, we have. Those are probably the two big, and then we have our, before we know it, we'll be into Easter and spring break, and it just moves. That's one thing Dr. Osborne told me my first year in. I said something about how that the time going up to Christmas had gone fast. She goes, just wait until you come back from spring break. She goes, and it's just like zoom.
It's zoom.
And
but I feel like I blinked and it was just August.
I know. Same here. Same here. It has gone so quickly. It is just so fast.
It is very much a thief.
One of the hardest things for me is going to be losing. I mean, my kiddos that I've had as I was setting up the show, just kind of unpacking what we were going to talk about. As a teacher, I've had my kiddos in my home room that I have had from the moment that I started teaching.
Yeah.
That's the best kept secret in radio. Everybody, we keep them all the time, because you got to talk through it. Yeah. But so I had my kiddos that were sophomores, and they're in my homeroom, and they're seniors now.
Oh yeah,
and they're leaving. I've already got 4 that have left. I'll see them Friday as long as it doesn't snow us out.
I know. I'm praying we don't. Snow can come in Saturday or Sunday.
When is your winter graduation?
January 16th.
Okay, so
Thursday.
yours is coming up Thursday.
A week from this coming Thursday.
Okay, so your graduation is on Thursday. Our winter graduation is on Saturday, anticipating it.
Yeah.
And again, it just depends on what we get. I don't know. I haven't looked real close at the weather. But,
I was watching the news, and they're saying, well, this model or this. I mean,
yeah, I know. It's like, whatever.
I'll wait till Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. And, you just have to kind of see.
You just have to roll with it. That's right.
So y'all got those things coming up. Let's talk about how many kids do you have at school?
I have almost 700 students now.
And that's 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
How big is your senior class this year?
89 students.
89 students. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And about 13 of those will graduate next Thursday night.
Wow. That's so fun. But, and that's, have we always done an early graduation? Because that's something I don't remember.
The time that I have been here. Mm-hmm. The first few years I was here, we did not. Then we did an early graduation where everybody graduated together. At the center, and we had everybody sat with their class, with their school.
Yes. Okay.
And they would call each school up each time, each principal up each time.
Yeah.
We did a combo.
Yeah.
What you'd call a big
I remember somebody telling me that.
And it got too big.
Okay, because so many kids were like, "Hey, I want to early graduate."
Yes, and I don't blame them. A lot of our early grads are our TCAT kids. Mm-hmm. They've already over halfway through their TCAT program. They've been doing it since a junior. They want to go on.
Explain that to me.
Okay, it's Tennessee College of Applied Technology.
Okay,
we are very fortunate at East Robertson that we can co-op with the TCAT in Portland.
Right.
So our kids go before they come to school.
Right.
And they get there usually about between 7 and 7:15, and they stay till about 9 o'clock. So, and they run on clock hours at the TCAT. So the more hours they get, some of our kids go during the summer, some don't. But the more hours they get, the closer to the graduation time. So about the time they graduate high school, they're just about ready to get out of the TCAT. Maybe a semester or so. And it's a lot of our kids do the welding. A lot of our kids do the HVAC. And we have had great success with that. And it's our kids that want to work with their hands and just want to go to work. They do not care anything about college. And we have to have tradesmen. I mean, my husband has to have tradesmen for his business to continue to run and be successful. And we have to have kids want to go into a trade.
What does your husband do?
He does underground water and utilities.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you want to plug? Is it a business? Is it a private business?
It's a business. Yeah, it's good.
Plug it. Go ahead. You're in here. Let's get a plug for it.
But he needs skilled equipment operators and workers. And our kids, and they know that if they fall behind in their studies, in the classroom back at East, or if attendance becomes an issue, or discipline becomes an issue, the TCAT is a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids get to drive there and then drive to school, back to
Right.
school. So they know all of that is a privilege. And so we have had huge success with that at East Robertson High School. One of our teachers now, her son just got done at the TCAT, and he started work at TVA over the Christmas break.
Yeah. Good jobs.
I
My
mean,
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have welders everywhere. We have HVAC installers. There's just we have students that go do the cosmetology TCAT, and they go, that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a welding program at Springfield High School, so we're funneling our freshmen there, but it's an awesome opportunity for our kids.
Well, everything that we do with the CTE program, as the more I learn about it, the more intrigued I am with it, because we call in my day we called it trade school.
Oh, and I still call it the trade school.
Yeah, and we just, I don't know, my kids, we just didn't see all that for a while.
Right.
And I don't know, I feel like Mike Rowe gets credit for bringing it back, man. I do.
Yeah,
I love Mike Rowe.
It's a need.
And he really pushed it. And I think he you have a lot of attention that was drawn to it from the work. You knew who I'm talking about, Mike Rowe.
Right, yeah. Dirty
jobs and all that. And he has really pushed the trades. And it has really helped expand this and give these kids opportunities that just are not interested in going to college.
No, and I want somebody skilled that knows what they're doing to work on my heat if it goes out today.
Thank you very much. Very good point.
So it's an awesome program in our CTE. I'm an old CTE teacher, so my heart kind of goes with CTE, and I believe in the trade.
What did you teach with CTE?
I was an accounting and business teacher.
Okay, very good. Very good. Yeah, and that's one thing too, all the certifications that you can get, especially through CTE and then engineering and FFA and
the healthcare.
Yes, and the healthcare. Oh yeah, the healthcare certifications and food service certifications and things like that. We're working really hard to try to find something for our AV. My husband's with criminal justice at Springfield. And, we're trying to find something specific, and we're kind of looking at drones and trying to see if we can't do something to get these kids certified in drone technology. Because we've got them, but it's just trying to find that little fit, but we're going to.
Well, in our middle school, this year, Mr. Gregory, our CTE supervisor, we have a middle school related arts program. And one of those programs is he has equipped a classroom, and this classroom is the neatest room in our building. You can go in there and you can learn to fly jets.
Yeah.
And you have to do this as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Food service, they have a little, the day I observed in there, they had a little pizza stand, and it was outside, but you and your team had to get that pizza made and delivered and done on time in the rain, in the storm, and the different elements would come in with the technology. There's a little cosmetology piece over here to it. Another student was drawing, and he had to draw it on paper, then transfer what was on the paper onto the technology on the computer. And so the kids get to see a lot of different things in the middle school before they head to the high school to understand, because you don't know in the 9th grade what you really, some kids know.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what you want to do. And there's so much out there now. Mm-hmm. And this gives them, and the kids were so excited. And I said, what do you like best about this? And one little boy said, he said, well, if I make a mistake, then I do this, but then it shows me what I need to do to correct the mistake.
I love it.
And they have to work together as a team.
Yeah.
It's not an individual thing. So skills that CTE teaches our kids, just life skills, is
that career exploration is what and I think that's what the class is called.
Exploration. I love it.
It is a great program, and it's again a middle school program that I just am so impressed with.
Every 8th grader in our building will go through that program this year, and I love it.
And that way, when they get into high school and they see the CTE options. That's one thing I was talking and kind of explaining as I was anticipating you guys coming in. And I said, people don't realize in high school to graduate, one of the requirements is you have to have a career path. Yes. And a career path is levels 1, 2, and 3 in one path. Like you were teaching business.
Right.
So you had to take 3 business classes that fulfilled that career path. If you're going to do audio video as your career path, you have to take AV 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. And same thing with agriculture. You have to take 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. All of them have a 1, 2, and 3. Engineering, every single one of them have a level 1, 2, and 3, so you can fulfill the career path because that is that a state requirement?
Yes.
Okay, that's a state requirement now. Mm-hmm. That you have to have a career path because we're trying to empower these kids to have not just a high school degree, but have a career on the other side
Be
of it.
thinking about what you want to do.
Absolutely. And so by doing that career exploration in middle school, then when they hit the ninth grade, they've got a better general idea of what they want to do and what they can do. And of course, I have some of the kids go, well, I wanted this, but they put me in here. And it's like, oh, we're just trying to get, we try to accommodate you.
Yeah. And, like we can only accommodate so many.
Yeah.
Our school is fortunate. Sometimes our kids can get 2.
Yeah.
Because we're small.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some get 3. I don't know if he actually, because I have a student, Alex Maddox, is an early graduate, and he was kind of on task. He was on path to where he could have had his 3rd, because he's one of those. I can't remember what the first one was, but the second one was audio video, because he came in just with a real passion for audio video. But then whenever I started talking to him about the real realities of it and the difficulties as a career. It touches every field now. Every field.
Everything is.
And so, yeah, they all need it. But if you want to be just a broadcaster, just a filmmaker, it's like being an actor, and it's difficult. So you need to know how you're going to make a living. And so he steered into health and wanted to be an EMT as a career, and then this other is kind of a side thing.
Correct.
And so he started that path, and I don't guess he fully fulfilled it, but he did get at least 2 got close to 3 career paths. That's amazing. And do y'all do a lot of dual enrollment?
We do. We have a lot of dual enrollment. Our middle college numbers are going up every year. And so that's another way. If you're a student in the 9th grade and 110% you're going to college and you want to be a lawyer or you want to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Then you're going to do the middle college. You want to get that associate degree before you get out of high school, which I think is fabulous.
I had one of my students I was really close to did that last year. I was so proud of her.
Well, I've had 2 or 3 students do that, and the first student I had to do it, she's already teaching school somewhere. She's an English teacher.
Isn't that great?
High school English teacher. That's what she wanted to do. She got in there. She got her middle college done. When I handed her a diploma, Austin P handed her associate degree, and she went right on and she got done. So it's a lot of things that in the 30 some odd years that I've been out of high school myself that have evolved and changed. And it's a lot of good things. And I know in education, a lot of times we focus on the negative and the bad, but I think back and I think opportunity for a young person now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just the opportunities are there for anything.
You better believe it. Oh, we're talking with Miss Cook. She is the principal at East Robertson High School, and just kind of getting an update from her. Do you mind peeking out there? I'm going to do my ad and see if Dr. Holmes is out there. I don't know. We've had some confusion about the schedule today, and it's just we're all getting back from Christmas break. So I'll continue talking to you if you're available. And if you want to hang out, I do want to pause though and talk about the Richardses. You say Barry and Rebecca Richards, and you had their kids at school.
Their kids came through school there.
They've been a sponsor of this program from the very beginning, and we just love what they do in the community because they're so involved in the community. And if you're looking for help in real estate, guys, I cannot recommend them enough. Barry just recently was named one of the top 100 from Exit. Over Christmas break, he had that honor, and they're just the whole package because they come to the table as a couple that both of them ended up changing careers. They were in different fields. She actually came out of she was in radiology. Barry was a marketer, and she changed way back there. She's one of the first in the area to be a senior real estate specialist, so she's been at the real estate game for a very long time. Finally talked her hubby into coming over and doing real estate, and they're just a wonderful team. They have their own offices. She has an agency office up in White House. He has a brokerage office here in Springfield. They combine those two to bring you Exit Prime Realty, which is a new branch in the Exit tree. They've been with the Garden Gate team for many, many years, but they are doing kind of their own little branch of it now, and just can't say enough about them, how well they do, the expertise that they bring to the table, having a marketer that's on the team to come in and present your property to make sure it's being seen in the best light with photography, drone footage, walkthrough tours, all the things that you may need to make sure that you're seen just perfectly. You cannot beat it, but it is wonderful. And if you want to talk to Barry and Rebecca Richards, again, they're with Exit Prime Realty. You can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or BUYRobertsonCounty.com. The phone number to call if you want to reach out to Rebecca is 615-504-7425, 504-7425 to reach them. They specialize, again, in Roberts County properties, but also buying and selling the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky, because like me, they're from Kentucky. So they know it all, and you're going to love working with them. Let them know that U-Turn sent you. Conversation with Dr. Holmes about possibly doing a phone interview, and so that may have been the confusion. So
Might be.
that may be. So we will get something rescheduled, and I don't see anything else from her, but we'll figure it out. We had talked about possibly doing a phone interview in the event that she couldn't get here, but then I kind of felt like she was still coming, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. We'll reschedule her, because we had to reschedule you too, because you had, and that's one. I think that's what got us. I had reached out to the wrong people, and you know how you do. You know, it
just happens.
It just happens. It just happens. But I'm so thankful that you were able to come in today. What are we missing? Anything about East Robertson that we haven't covered?
I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on. We've had a lot of years of success and stuff. We have a huge beta program. Our FFA is real big. FBLA has taken off. I mean, we have state and national leaders in beta, FFA, FBLA. Our HOSA has gotten off the ground and doing great. TCAT. We have the dual enrollment, APSU collaborative. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, athletically, I don't know how you could do any better than what we've done. We've had back to back to back finalists for Mr. Football the last 3 years. So, I mean, you know, and a
Impressive.
and a Mr. Football in the middle of that, in the mix of that. So, our volleyball girls broke a women's record, school record, runner up in state volleyball this year. I mean, for a small school, we pack a big punch. We do a lot of things out there.
I love it. I love it. It's hard not to get kind of, a little braggy, I guess, when you got to feel that way.
Yeah, you want to be a little humble, but I mean, but we couldn't do it without our community.
No.
We couldn't do it without the people behind us and our parents.
Yeah.
We don't have a PTO, but honestly, we don't need one, because
everybody's in the PTO.
Everybody's
right?
in the PTO, and I mean, and the elementary school has a huge PTO program. So when they leave the elementary and come to us, they just go straight to get involved to what their child is involved in.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like I said, because we're small, our kids have their hands in just about everything.
Yeah.
They do a little bit of everything. They play just about every sport. I mean, so they do a little bit of everything. But I mean, we've got some pretty big people that have come out of East Robertson High School. Miss Faye Stubblefield, I don't know if you know her.
I know Miss Faye very
her
well.
Daughter Amanda, she's an astronaut. I mean, she works for NASA.
Yeah, she works for NASA. I don't know if she's an astronaut per se. Does she class an astronaut? Because I don't know if she's actually been in space.
What she does, I think she puts them into space.
She's an engineer. Mm-hmm. She's an engineer. Oh, I've met her. Yeah, because I have a kid that's in aerospace. He builds drones down, and he kind of is in the same interest line. And
I think she sends them up into space. Sends them into space.
So, but, she's amazing.
Miss Faye is still very involved in our
rocket
school.
scientist, we call her.
Yes, very involved in our school and in our community. And so, I mean, we just do a lot of things. Our social worker is awesome there. The Family Resource Center is good to us. The Storehouse in Cross Plains, I don't know if you know about that, but that's a local, I wouldn't call it a charity, but it's a local business there. It's a nonprofit business, and several people have started that up in our community. And if you are down on your luck and you just need a week's worth of groceries or whatever, you go to the Storehouse. It's right there. I mean, they help with lunches.
Really?
It's been probably up and running a couple years now.
If you would send me some contact info on that,
because
I'd like to have them in and talk about that.
I'll be glad
because I know about the things like that here in Springfield, but I had not heard of that one.
Yeah, it's and it's up there kind of by the drugstore, and it's in a little place.
I had actually seen where Barry and Rebecca did a food drive back around Thanksgiving. I wonder if it was associated.
It probably was.
I bet you it was.
Because I'm sure they're on the board.
I bet you it was.
I'm sure they're on the board.
I bet you it was, because I can reach out to them and find out. But if you could send me some contact.
I'll send you that. Yeah. I'll send you the two names of the people that I know for sure that you can get in contact and that are directly involved with the Storehouse. But that's huge in our school.
That's amazing.
Our local churches and our local businesses. I just can't say enough about what the community does to make East Robertson High School. And that's not just in the last 15 years. That's in the last however many years, since we became one school, and probably before then, the history of the schools.
Nixon Pro Media.
Oh, Jamie. Yeah, we love Jamie. We love Jamie.
He's probably the one that first brought East Robertson to my attention. Now, no, I can't say that because of the Kilgore Festival. I've always been, familiar with what you guys did. And that's so funny because our first years of the festival, it just seemed we just got rained out and rained out and rained out. And we were inside the auditorium. And what a fun auditorium. We loved hanging out in the auditorium and having the festival. We loved the park. But that was really a good setting for us as we were really getting going. It was just perfect. But Jamie started coming in. Everything East Robertson.
He is a proud alumni.
Yes, he is.
We love him. He does.
Well, he's one of the state champion. He was on the state champion team. I know I've heard about that. Yes, I have, Jamie. Yeah. But great friend. And so, yes, he's talked a lot about that.
He's a proud alumni, and we love Jamie. We couldn't do a lot of things that we do without Jamie.
Yeah, because he does basketball, or he does a lot of the sports stuff.
There's a lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles and family members that would not otherwise see their children play ball, but they see them now, and it's live and just as clear as a bell.
Yeah, and it's because of the work he has done with and I forget what they call their setup, but he's Nixon Pro Media. But I forget what do y'all call it?
It's East Robertson Athletics.
East Robertson Athletics is what it goes under, and that's a thing. When you look at, like you said, schools that are really knocking it out of the park, it is. Yes, you need your teachers, you need your admins, you need everybody, but those parents and those kids that really get vested in that school, that's what is a game changer. We have
parents that still are vested in our school, that their kids have graduated.
Yeah, and they're still a part of it.
They keep coming back.
They keep being there because they're part of the support. And two, doubling back around, because I know the one thing, too, at Greenbrier, you have those teachers that are standouts that if you did not have them that really get some skin in the game, that really, you're talking about your programs that are coming along. Your business leaders program. If you don't have teachers that are really vested in doing the work beyond the normal school day, those programs don't succeed.
They have to be willing to give their family's sacrifice. For these teachers to take these kids to FFA convention and to these contests, to beta. Not just the local beta at the Opryland Hotel, the state beta, but to national beta in Savannah, Georgia. To do all of those things. If we didn't have that, our students wouldn't have that opportunity. I mean, you have to have adults who are willing to invest their time, and their families willing to give up their time, and for these adults to do that and to make these kids successful.
I know last year, and I forget what the name of the club is, but they were the whole bunch of the teachers, and they were gone during spring break on something school related, and I was like, y'all gave up your spring break to do that? My goodness, that impressed me big.
I mean,
that's the thing. You've got them. I've taken a couple of field trips with a bunch of kiddos. It's a lot to take them overnight somewhere. Oh my goodness!
Overnights are done. I have people that do it now, but I can remember the overnights, and it's a lot of fun, and you're creating memories for a lot of students that otherwise wouldn't have those memories.
It was so funny. We
had
those
opportunities.
I had to go through a program. CTE teachers, if you come in with a career background to allow you to teach, you still have to be taught to teach. And you still have to go through an education program. And I completed mine called Teach Now up in Rutherford County.
I completed mine at MTSU.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I had an accounting degree.
Yes, and so you have to do all those things. And so the woman who taught us, she was an FFA teacher for years, and so she taught a whole section on taking field trips over, and some of the stories she told us were like, what?
Yeah, the FFA is.
It was great.
They're field tripping all the time.
Yeah, they really are, and she had quite the stories, and they survived them all.
Yeah, they did. Both of my students were FFA. Both of my children were FFA kids, and they loved their FFA time. It's a lot of fun.
And you just become a little family when you get these things going. That's what we're really hoping to do with all of our CTE programs, our audio video program. I'm trying to, I'm the first one in the county, and then they have one at Springfield now, but we're trying to build something new. And so it just takes a little bit of time, but there's a lot of investment from you teachers, guys, and you just have no idea.
A lot of outside time investment.
Absolutely. We're talking with Miss Cook, Mary Cook. She is the principal of East Robertson Middle and High School. If you're new to the area, that would encompass the area. Like, do you have a town perimeter? Like you'd say, we're from here to here to here to here.
Oh gosh, we're from the Kentucky line to about Lakeview Market.
About Lakeview Market, and then beyond that, does that change counties, or does that go into
No.
a different? Does that
When
go
you
to
get to
Heritage?
Lakeview, well, Hancock's now is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We have part of that, and then part of that is back towards Springfield. But
Get back
that's
on that
still
mic for me,
Robertson.
if you don't mind. Yeah.
That's still Robertson County.
Okay.
Now, when you go up past us, up to the state line, one side of 31 is Robertson County, the other side is Sumner County. Then we have kids that live on the Kentucky-Tennessee state line that are on this side of that.
Okay. My goodness.
Franklin, Kentucky.
My goodness. Yeah, you got the country kids up there. I'm
Yeah.
one of those country kids. Your school reminds me a lot of where I went to school. Everything I hear about it has got the same kind of feel. Now, we were K through 12 because that was the 60s and 70s, but it's got kind of that same feel. And my community back in West Kentucky is so similar to what we have here in Robertson. You know.
And East Robertson used to be a K-12.
I
As I was
figured,
talking
yeah.
to Miss Reed last night, I said, okay, so tell me the true history of how we became where we are. Because I knew it in my mind. I said, but if I get asked about that, I don't want to mess it up because somebody will be listening. But we started out Cross Plains School and Orlinda School.
Okay.
And Orlinda was in Orlinda, and Cross Plains was right there in Cross Plains. Then in 1950, the two schools combined, and they built the 812 school on East Robertson Road that is now East Robertson Elementary.
Okay.
So in the 8th grade, you came there. Then in 1956, it was overcrowded, if you can believe it, up there, and they sent the 8th grade back to their respective schools.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that was some big controversy.
I'm sure.
But because it was change.
Yeah.
But they did it. Then in 1969, the Cross Plains School burnt. The Cross Plains Elementary burned. And they all sent them to Orlinda.
Okay.
So then they remodeled what is East Robertson Elementary now, and it was a K-12 until 1990.
Okay.
And it became a 712. I mean, it became a K-6, and then they built what is currently where we are now. And it started out as 712. Then and from the gymnasium, the band room, the auditorium back toward the high school was a 712. Then within a few years, they added the middle school wing and brought the 6th grade over, and it's been a 612 ever since.
Okay. See, and you talk about the similarities of West Kentucky. Graves County was consolidated from all of our little schools. And so I remember that controversy of closing down the local schools to go to the bigger school.
Yeah.
We're having a basketball reunion this Friday night up at Graves County from all of our little teams and stuff. And so it's so familiar. It sounds so familiar. So now as you're talking about the things that you've done and the developments, are you anticipating any construction or anything?
We've remodeled the auditorium probably since you've been in it last.
I'm going to go check it out then.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
When
really
did that
nice.
happen?
In the last couple years.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Life Center Church meets in our building. That's another thing. Our school, it may not be having a school event, but some kind of event is going on in our building just about all the time.
Okay. And which church meets there?
Life Center.
Okay.
They meet there, and so they have been gracious enough to go in, and they've remodeled that auditorium, and the seats are new. It's super nice. We are we are so blessed, so blessed.
When do they meet? I'll have to pop in there and see
Sunday morning, Wednesday
night. You know what time?
I think they have an 8 and a 10 maybe.
Okay.
8 and 10
because
service.
I'm Madison Church of Christ, so I pop around to different services all the time.
8
so
and 10, but they have a Facebook page. I think it's 8 and 10.
I'm gonna go check it out.
8:30 and 10.
I'd love to see the auditorium, so that'd be a way for me to pop in there easily on the weekend. And I can also just come into a game or something.
Yeah, come on.
And
Friday night.
I've got to get to some basketball games, and it's one of those things. I've just been so busy, but that's a priority because I love basketball. That was my sport. And so I got to get to some of these basketball games.
Friday night, us and Joe Burns.
Okay. So now you're playing, you say district play. Let me we're just about out of time, but district play, what does that exactly mean? Because y'all been playing.
We've been playing, but your district play is the teams in your district.
Okay.
So, and that record is what will
Determine who goes to regionals.
right. It'll advance the seeding in the district tournament, and then from that it determines
Okay.
the region, and you'll play some region games here and there. But when you start your district, that's when the rubber meets the road.
Because I don't really remember how it was structured. I just know we always won our district and always went to regionals, and we went to state one time whenever I was in school. So I just remember that structure. But again, it was before we were consolidated and all those things. So I didn't really realize. So how long is the district play before we begin district tournaments? Do you know?
The district tournaments actually for our district is going to be held at East Robertson this year, and it'll start February the 20th.
Wow,
We've been playing basketball since Thanksgiving, but
yeah. Well, same
but
at
the
same at
district,
Greenbrier.
yes,
Yeah,
we do,
yeah.
and we play Greenbrier.
Yes.
And we play
Are we in
Heritage.
the same district with
No.
y'all? I didn't think so.
Because we're a different classification.
That's what I
Right.
thought. Okay. So,
But no, we play Heritage. So we play a lot of our county schools. They just may not be in our district.
which one of the county schools are in your district?
Joe Burns.
Just Joe Burns. Okay. So, y'all are in the same district. And then once you get district play, then you'll hit the regionals. What are some of the teams you'll have to face at regionals?
We could have to go to Livingston Academy. We could Clay County.
Okay.
Some different places like that.
Okay. And then how does that set up in timing wise? So you have your districts, you have your regionals, and then what is the timeline on state tournaments here in Tennessee?
They'll
for
be
high
about
school?
the 1st of March.
Okay.
Second or third.
Before we get into
around
March Madness time.
Yeah, close
getting
to
into-
spring break.
Okay.
Like the district tournament's February 20th. It's that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday
Okay.
of starting the 20th, and it'll be at East. We host it this year, and then after that you'll start your region the following weekend, and that's a few nights, and
Okay.
then you'll have your what I call the sub-state, but they call it a sectional game now, and you'll have those, and then you'll start the state tournament.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing. It's so different than when I was there, and it's
yeah.
and I hear the kids talking about sub-state, and that because I thought you won regionals, you're at state.
No,
Well, you
have
are,
a
but
game
it's
or two in between.
okay before you're actually considered in the state tournament.
Correct.
So it's almost like an extension of a regional, but it's more of a state regional.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm figuring it out.
It's complicated.
Yeah,
takes
it is a
about
little
the time you
bit.
get it figured out, they're going to change it.
Okay, exactly.
They're going to change it.
Well, we're talking with Mary Cook and just wrapping it up. Thank you for sticking out with me. And
well, thank you
again,
for having us.
apologies to Dr. Holmes. I think the text that we had back and forth saying that we might have a phone interview, and that we just never got any confirmation on that. We'll get her rescheduled and get her in here and talk with her as well, because we want you to know your principals at your schools, and we got a bunches of them, and we've got this scheduled thanks to Jim Bellis. All the way through the school year. So we're going to do this every year. So we'll get to visit with you again next year. And I'll pop in the school. I'm going to come see
by.
you guys.
Come by anytime. Come see us, and we'll give you the tour. And but we appreciate you having us out and letting
It's
us
our
do
pleasure.
this and giving us a plug for our schools. I
Absolutely.
know on behalf probably of all the principals, they appreciate that, and it gets some good things out into the public eye.
Well, it's our pleasure, and thank you for taking the time to come in, and thank you guys for joining us here at 1100 WSGI. Tomorrow, possibly talking, everybody's still kind of in that Christmas vacation mode, and Sean Elmore is on the schedule to come in and talk to us about the Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center. Hopefully we'll get her in here and just kind of get an update on all that's going on, because they're getting ready for their big benefit. I don't know if that's coming up.
It's a big deal.
So, yes, it is. And so that's on the horizon. So we're going to try to get Sean in here tomorrow. I hope you'll join us. This is 1100. God bless.